You lie in bed at night, and the silence is so loud it hurts. You scroll through your phone, and everyone seems to be moving forward. Everyone, except you. You pray, and it feels like your words hit the ceiling and fall back down. And somewhere deep inside, you ask God the question you're afraid to say out loud. Did you forget about me? You're not alone in feeling alone. But what if I told you that your loneliness isn't proof that God abandoned you? What if the isolation you're experiencing right now isn't rejection, it's redirection? What if God didn't leave you behind? He set you apart. See, sometimes you're not alone because God forgot you. Sometimes you're alone because God separated you. And there's a massive difference between the two. Today, I want to walk you through 7 signs that your loneliness isn't abandonment, it's alignment. It's not destruction, it's reconstruction. And I need you to stay with me until the end, because I'm going to give you a mantra to carry through this season, something you can repeat when the enemy whispers that you've been forgotten. Not destruction, it's reconstruction. If you know deep down you're in a set-apart season, this word is for you. Let's go. The first sign is this: the world around you gets quieter. Your phone stops buzzing. The invitations dry up. People who used to check on you don't anymore. And you start wondering, if I mattered, wouldn't someone notice I'm gone? You feel invisible, like you're shouting into a void and no one hears you. You post something vulnerable online and it gets 2 likes. You reach out to old friends and the conversation dies after 3 messages. You show up to places and it's like you're a ghost, present but unseen. And the question screams in your mind, God, if you love me, why does it feel like I don't exist to anyone? But here's what you haven't seen yet. God isn't turning people away from you to hurt you. He's lowering the volume of the world so you can finally hear his voice again. Think about it. When was the last time you had real silence? When was the last time you weren't drowning in noise, opinions, distractions, and the chaos of everyone else's agenda? Look at Jesus. Before he stepped into public ministry, before the miracles and the crowds and the fame, he went into the desert, alone, silent, hidden. For 40 days, he had nothing but God, the wilderness, and his own thoughts. That wasn't punishment, that was preparation. God removes the noise because the noise was drowning out his voice. He clears the room because the room was full of voices that weren't helping you. They were just making you more confused, more anxious, more dependent on validation that was never meant to sustain you. So what do? You stop chasing the noise. You stop scrolling for hours trying to feel connected. You stop begging people to notice you. Instead, you create space, intentional, sacred space for God to speak. You turn off the phone, you open the Word, you pray even when it feels like talking to the ceiling, because heaven isn't silent, you're being repositioned. The sign isn't that God abandoned you, the sign is that He's recalibrating your ears. The second sign, you walk into rooms that used to feel like home, and now they feel foreign. You sit with people you used to laugh with, and the conversation feels empty, shallow. You're physically there, but spiritually, you're somewhere else entirely. And you ask yourself, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel so out of place? Here's the truth. Nothing is wrong with you. You grew. And when God sets you apart, He doesn't just remove people from your life, He changes your appetite. He shifts your tolerance for what no longer serves your purpose. The conversations that used to entertain you now feel draining. The environments that used to excite you now feel toxic. The relationships that used to give you comfort now feel like chains. You're not broken, you're being separated, and separation always feels uncomfortable before it feels purposeful. Think about Daniel. He was taken captive to Babylon, surrounded by a culture that wanted to remake him in its image. They gave him new food, a new name, a new system. And Daniel could have blended in. He could have said, "I'll just adapt, I'll just fit in." But Daniel refused. He set himself apart. He said, "I will not defile myself with the king's food." He wouldn't let the world contaminate what God was building in him. And here's what that looked like in real time. Daniel was isolated. He didn't party with everyone else. He didn't chase their approval. He sat in his own lane, obedient, different, set apart. And because of that, God gave him favor that outlasted empires. So what's the practical move here? Stop forcing yourself to fit where you've outgrown. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Stop begging for belonging in spaces God is trying to pull you out of. Set boundaries. Walk away from conversations that pull you backward, and start seeking communion that actually feeds your spirit, not just your loneliness. You call it rejection, God calls it deliverance. The discomfort you feel is an alarm. You've grown too much to go back. Don't ignore it. The third sign is the hardest one to swallow. People leave. Doors slam shut. Opportunities vanish. The person who promised they'd never leave left. The dream you built your life around collapsed. And you're standing in the wreckage asking God, "Why did you let this happen? Why did you let me lose what I loved?" Here's what you don't see in the moment. God prunes to protect your destiny. And pruning looks like loss before it ever looks like purpose. You know the story of Joseph, favored son, dreamer, anointed. And then in one day, his brothers threw him into a pit, sold him into slavery, and ripped his future away from him. Joseph went from the favorite to the forgotten, from the dreamer to the prisoner, alone, isolated, betrayed by the very people who were supposed to protect him. And for years, Joseph had no explanation, no closure, no justice, just silence, just waiting, just trusting that somehow God was still in control. But here's what God was doing in the silence. He was removing everyone and everything that couldn't go where Joseph was going. Those brothers, they would have sabotaged the palace. That old life, it was too small for what God was building. The pit, the prison, the isolation, it wasn't the end of Joseph's story. It was the middle of God's plan. So what do you do when the people leave and the doors close? You stop chasing. You stop forcing it. You stop begging people to stay who were only meant to be there for a season. You bless them on their way out. You release them without bitterness. You keep your character intact even when it feels like your world is falling apart. Because God isn't stripping your life to punish you. He's pruning it to prepare you. What left didn't destroy you. It detached you. God isn't impoverishing you. He's pruning you. And when pruning season is over, what's left will be stronger, healthier, and more fruitful than anything you lost. Here's the thing. When God is about to rebuild, He first removes what can't sustain the new structure. It looks like demolition. It feels like destruction, but it's actually invisible construction. And you're right in the middle of it. The fourth sign, it's not just external anymore, it's internal. You start feeling anxious in ways you've never felt before. Old memories resurface. Wounds you thought were healed start bleeding again. You feel like you're breaking down from the inside out, and you wonder, God, I thought this was supposed to get better. Why does it feel like I'm getting worse? Here's the truth you need to hear. God isn't destroying you. He's treating the root so He can sustain the new. Think about David. Before he ever wore a crown, he sat in a cave, alone, hunted, afraid. He had been anointed king, but instead of a throne, he got a cave. Instead of a palace, he got betrayal. And in that cave, David didn't just wait, he wrestled. He wrestled with fear, with doubt, with depression. Read the Psalms. David poured out his soul in that season.
How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? But here's what was happening in the cave. God was doing surgery on David's character. He was cutting away pride, insecurity, and the need for human approval. He was building a foundation strong enough to carry a kingdom. The cave wasn't the end. The cave was the preparation for the throne. And that's what God is doing with you right now. He's not breaking you. He's breaking what was breaking you. He's confronting the lies, the trauma, the dependencies, the patterns that were never going to survive where He's taking you. So what do? You lean into the process. You don't numb it. You don't run from it. You get help. Therapy, counseling, a mentor, a mature believer who can walk with you. You confess what needs to be confessed. You forgive who needs to be forgiven. You build new habits. You discipline your mind and your spirit. You let God do the deep work, even when it hurts. What you call collapse, God calls surgery. He's not dismantling you. He's dismantling what was never supposed to define you. And when He's done, you'll look back and realize the breakdown was actually a breakthrough. The fifth sign, your loneliness starts to shift. It's still there, but it's changing form. The emotional neediness you used to feel starts turning into spiritual hunger. You don't just want someone to text you back, you want to hear from God. You don't just want to feel loved by people, you want to experience the love of the Father in a way you never have before. And you ask yourself, will I ever feel joy again? Will I ever feel whole? Here's what's happening. In isolation, God is trading your dependence on people for intimacy with Him. You're not losing connection, you're gaining a deeper one. Look at Hannah. She was barren, mocked, misunderstood. Year after year, she went to the temple with nothing but pain and silence. No answer, no child, no relief. But in her deepest loneliness, Hannah didn't give up. She poured out her soul before God. She turned her pain into prayer. She turned her isolation into intercession, and God heard her. He didn't just give her a son. He gave her Samuel, a prophet who would change the course of a nation. Her loneliness became an altar. Her pain became a prayer, and her waiting became a promise. So what do you do in this season? You stop complaining and start seeking. You turn your routine into devotion. You fast from distractions. You keep a journal. You worship even when you don't feel like it. You let the loneliness drive you to your knees instead of to your phone. When no one holds you, God teaches you to lean on Him. Loneliness becomes an altar the moment you stop resenting it and start surrendering in it. If this word is stirring your spirit, I want you to do something. Comment below, not destruction, it's reconstruction. Type it boldly, like you believe God is rebuilding you, because He is. The sixth sign, you still miss people. You still feel the ache, but underneath it, there's a new kind of peace, a steadiness you didn't have before. You're setting boundaries you would have never set a year ago. You're saying no to things you used to tolerate. You're not desperate anymore. You're just different. And the question comes, am I going to be like this forever? No. Separation is a season, not a sentence. This isn't your forever. This is your training ground. God is teaching you how to carry more without breaking. He's strengthening you for what's coming. Look at Paul, imprisoned, beaten, shipwrecked, abandoned by friends. And yet Paul said, "When I am weak, then I am strong." He learned something in the isolation that he couldn't have learned in the spotlight: how to be content in every circumstance, how to carry the weight of ministry without crumbling under the pressure of people. God didn't delay Paul, He prepared him. And He's doing the same with you. So what do? You stay consistent. You don't go back to the old patterns just because you're lonely. You keep showing up in the secret place. You stay obedient even when no one's watching. Because who God uses in public, He forms in private. God didn't delay you, He prepared you. And the strength you're building right now in the hidden place is what's going to sustain you when the doors open again. The seventh and final sign. You start to feel something shift. It's subtle at first, but you notice clarity coming. You notice compassion for others rising in your heart. You notice God giving you small assignments, small directions, little nudges to step out, to serve, to reconnect, not out of neediness, but out of purpose. And with that comes a new fear. What if I step out of this season and nothing changes? What if I'm still broken? Here's the truth. When God finishes His work in the secret, He sends you back into the world with a mission, not with a need. You don't come out the same, you come out sent. Think about Elijah. After the showdown on Mount Carmel, after the miracles and the fire from heaven, Elijah ran to a cave, depressed, isolated, questioning everything. And God met him there, not with fireworks, not with thunder, with a still, small voice. And then God said, "What are you doing here, Elijah? Go, I have more for you to do." The cave wasn't Elijah's end, it was his reset. And when he came out with fresh direction, renewed strength, and a clear assignment. So what do now? You take the small steps God is giving you. You obey the little things. You serve someone. You reach out.
You step into community again. But this time, you're not chasing acceptance, you're walking in assignment. You're building a life rooted in purpose, not people-pleasing. You're not being hidden to disappear, you're being hidden to mature. And when you come out, you won't come out desperate, you'll come out delivered. Listen to me, you are not forgotten, you are set apart. You are not at the end, you are in the middle of the work. God didn't remove people to punish you, He removed them to protect and prepare you. Everything that looks like it's falling apart, that's just God removing what can't hold the weight of what He's about to build. The friendships that faded, they would have contaminated your next season. The doors that closed, they would have trapped you in a version of yourself that was too small for where you're going. You've been calling it destruction, but God has been calling it reconstruction. Say it with me, not destruction, it's reconstruction. You're not breaking, you're being rebuilt. And when God rebuilds, He doesn't use the same blueprint. He doesn't settle for the old foundation. He goes deeper. He digs into the parts of you that you didn't even know needed healing. And He builds something that can sustain glory, that can carry anointing, that can hold the promise without crumbling under the pressure. Not destruction, it's reconstruction. And you're right in the middle of it. So let me bring this home. This loneliness you're feeling, it's not proof of abandonment, it's a sign of separation. God is healing you, aligning you, and preparing you to carry what you've been praying for. What you called loss might have been protection. What you called ruin might actually be reconstruction. Say this until you believe it. Not destruction, it's reconstruction. Here's what I need you to do. Stop interpreting everything as rejection. Bring your loneliness to God every single day in prayer. Close the doors that are pulling you back to the old version of yourself. Seek healthy community, but don't abandon the secret place God is still building in you. Pray this with me. God, I'm tired. I'm lonely, and I don't understand why this season has been so hard. But today, I choose to believe that you haven't forgotten me. I choose to believe that this isolation has been intentional, that you're not punishing me, you're preparing me. I release the people who left. I release the doors that closed. I forgive the pain, and I surrender my timeline to you. Give me the strength to trust you in the rebuilding. I believe you finish what you start. Amen. Now, if this word stirred something in your spirit, I need you to do two things. First,
Comment below, not destruction, it's reconstruction. Let that be your declaration. And second, if this message spoke to you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps this word reach the people who need it most. You're not abandoned. You're being set apart, and God finishes what He starts.